All right, welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. We continue with football in Jamaica. The final of the inaugural KFC Under 17 Elite Cup takes place this Saturday at the Anthony Spalding Sports Complex. The Elite Cup, which kicked off in February, is contested by the top 6 youth academies in Jamaica: Mount Pleasant Football Academy, Kingston Football Academy, Ballers Academy, Harborview FC, Cavalier FC, and Montego Bay United. Well, Saturday's championship match features Mount Pleasant and Harborview. In last Friday's semi-finals, Harborview, who finished second in the league standings, delivered a dominant 3-0 win over Kingston Football Academy, while top-seeded Mount Pleasant edged Cavalier by 1-0. Competition organizer Eric Rademacher joins us in studio to tell us what we can expect come this Saturday at the Anthony Spalding Sports Complex. Eric, welcome to the SportsMax Zone. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing very well.
Yeah,
how are you?
I'm good as well. Getting ready for Saturday's final. What are we looking forward to?
I mean, a lot of good football. It's where the core of the idea came from. Can we have our top players play against top players on good surfaces? I think too many times we see our elite players play maybe against teams that don't have those same top players with that mentality, or they might play on a field that's not up to standard. So with this competition, and even the approach we had when we approached KFC with the idea, was really, can we lift up that level of our elite players who really supposed to be representing us in a few years' time at the senior level and hopefully make that step to Europe. So this Saturday with the final, with the two remaining teams, or the two best teams of the season, with Harborview and Mount Pleasant, I'm sure we're going to see some of that quality.
Yeah, and I look at the teams that will be in the final, Mount Pleasant and of course Harborview, and I can instantly tell that it's going to be a quality matchup. Can you talk to me about, some of the players to look out for from the two teams?
Yeah, I mean, overall, the league, it's been great to see some of the real talented players. Harborview have some quality players throughout the season, with I think Tyreek Robinson as their main threat, number 9. Over the weekend, he scored a beautiful goal in the Jamaica Premier League as well. We're getting a chance there. So that is definitely somebody to look out for. Midfielder Zaire Dowes, having a good season as well. And Mount Pleasant, I think Mount Pleasant throughout the season has really shown us some amazing football. One of their main players was Jamari Nolan, who I'm not sure if been discussed here, but he has moved to Toronto FC throughout the season. But they still have plenty of players. Claver Nugent, top scorer of the league so far. Jaheim Douglas, midfielder that really been putting a stamp on the lead. Earl Dennis, centre-back that been with Jamaica under 17 as well. So there's plenty of top footballers, individuals to look forward to. But I think the biggest thing is that this league really creates a certain team level where you're being pushed.
Yeah.
So the coaches are being pushed on a more tactical level, and the top players have to dig deep to really get the result.
Yeah, I'm happy that you mentioned that, because, you spoke about just, players at this age getting ready for senior competition, but getting the opportunity to compete in a professional setup like this. How much does it mean to you, Eric, that this competition, continues to take place going forward, because you have the playoff match as well, which we're going to get to talk about that, and then this big final. And I mean, do you get the support that you want from the public turning up to matches like this?
It's the first year of us doing this, so it's really a building year. I mean, KFC, we can't say enough good words for them to come on board as that first year, who've been a part of a lot of supporting the youth football. And we've been extremely happy with the clubs. So the clubs have to make an investment every Saturday. They have to go put transportation, deal with food, their facilities, or rent a good facilities, because that's one of the standards. And it's that support that we needed, that support that we got from the sponsor, from the clubs. And I think now with more coverage on it, with them seeing the product, seeing the final, I expect more and more support from kind of the outside world as we kind of move along.
Yeah, and Eric, you don't have any transfer eligibility issues in this competition, do you?
Well, there are actually, as mainly as coach and really starting in this because I want to have more competition going for them. I now turn organizer, and we have some registration issues, but I'm quite happy that as much as we see on senior level some debate here and there, a lot of the club, or all of the clubs working together.
Yeah.
So whether they want to register new players, we have it all in good agreement whether we continue or not.
All right, fair enough. I'm interested though, because in the lead-in, it was said that the top 6 academies in the country. How did you determine these 6 teams?
It wasn't my saying. I know Mariah said the top 6, but we asked ourselves, which clubs do we know, or which football programs do we know that without a competition are still investing in their youth development? So whether it's January, it's May, it's October, whichever part of the year, are you still investing in them? And that is where we end up with these clubs. I mean, there are a few other clubs and football programs that we definitely consider, even looking into a second edition next year. But I think we can all agree, even for us as Kingston Football Academy, playing practice matches in off-season, we'll always end up playing Harbourview, Cavalier, Mount Pleasant, Ballas. I mean, Montego Bay is further out, but with Yoni Epstein there and new management, they're really dedicated to put investment, not just in the senior level, but on the youth level. And again, the facility is crucial. Yeah. So to be able to play at Catherine Hall in the stadium with that professional experience that you say, is something that we're extremely happy with. But I don't want to say it's these 6 are the top. We have a few other programs in Jamaica that we're very happy with.
Yeah.
But of course, budget-wise, financial-wise, can we afford to grow to that level? Is where we said in the first season, let us start with these 6.
Yeah, and that's the next question. I mean, are you open to having more teams next season? And are those other teams, you know, sort of ringing off your phone and saying, hey, we want to be part of this as well?
I mean, I'm happy to say we do have coaches, football programs, directors reach out to us and say, how can we join? Why didn't you call us here at the start? And that's the part I love, because I think the standard of youth football is too low in Jamaica. And if you're going to ask clubs to step up their standard, they would have if they wanted to. So we have to create something that forces them to raise the standard. So they call me and I say, well, if you're training right now, let us play a practice game next week.
Yeah.
And if you say, well, no, we're not in training, and I say, well, it can't work. So hopefully next year, they start their training in January. Yeah. Field is not good enough. They say, well, I guess we have to improve the field before we can start. So we'll hope with kind of those requirements of really investing in that youth level, good coaching staff, good field, proper training, that programs will do that more and more, and now we can have bigger competitions that are investing in the youth like that.
Yeah, you're with the Kingston Football Academy. You lost your semi-final to Harbourview. Talk to us about the semi-final matches. How good were they and how competitive were they?
I mean, I think overall football quality, when you reach to that final stage, you might not see as nice of a football as in the group stages. You know, there's a little bit more on the line. Yeah. Teams play maybe a little bit more conservative, a little bit more rough. But as I say, it's lovely to play them 2 times in the regular season. You have everything is on footage. We record everything, so you can analyze it properly. You kind of know the approach, and so on a tactical level, we're really being pushed. And then I think on the final stages, you're going to have teams who are gelling more together, that find themselves. So we're extremely happy. This was at Constant Spring. Unfortunately, it rained right before the semi-final. But we're extremely happy with the final bit taking place at Anthony Spalding Complex. Here we see Tyreek Robinson, who scored some real beauties. Here we see Jaheim Douglas from Mount Pleasant, player to watch for this weekend.
Yeah. What about Claver Nugent?
Yeah, so Claver Nugent has been the top scorer, along with Tyreek Robinson, really battling it out. But I don't want to get too much caught on individuals, because it's really, if you can go even in schoolboy football, you're going to see individuals that end up going professional. What we want is that lower level to be a lot higher. How good is the player on the bench? And that is really where I want to raise the level. We have 11 players, or 22 players on the field, and all of them have that certain top level. And then you get these individuals like a Claver Nugent, a Tyreek Robinson, a Jaheim Douglas to really step out and then put their mark on a match that's already quality.
Yeah, I don't know if you can answer this one, but what is the average age of the teams? And I ask that question because a lot of individuals would say, well, you know, at 16, 17 years old, if you really have the quality, then you're looking to, or you should be looking to step into senior professional teams rather than playing an under-17 competition. So what's the average age, if you can tell us, and what is the ultimate target for the players who are competing in a competition like this?
Right. The average age, I mean, as an organizer, you know, you see all the registration. So most of the teams have boys born in 2009, 2008. So that is that 16, 17. The 2009 have another year. 2008 really should be moving up in an under 18, under 90 competition, which we don't really have. So now they're looking at that senior level to make that step. Where we have a number of examples with Harbourview, with Montego Bay, with Mount Pleasant that already this year made that step. And a lot of them are even under 16 age still. Where do we want to go? I mean, this is a big conversation with KFC that we have at the start. You know, what are they investing in? Where do we want to go? And I mentioned Jamari Nolan, who went to Toronto. One of our players, Jamon Lal, went to Real Salt Lake on trial during the season. We see players making the debut in the Premier League. We saw Mount Pleasant have 2 Haitians that qualify for under-17 World Cup, where one of them made the senior squad for Haiti already at 16 years old. And we as a league contributing that every single week. They train with us in mind on Saturday, another quality match. And if you go from that setup and you join the senior team, whether it's Jamaica Premier League or it's national team, you're now fit. You are match fit. You much better impression than when you maybe were sitting on the bench at the Premier League all season long. And now you get under 17 World Cup qualifiers, or now you get a chance. So it is not that we're saying these players now can right away make it to the professional level, but you have to prepare yourself at 15, 16, 17 in a professional way, so that you at 17, 18 can actually catch up. Not everybody going to be Lamine Yamal and at 17 at that level. Most of our idols were not performing at the professional level at 16, 17. So they need an outlet. You know, in Europe you have the Youth Champions League, which is a great level. Not saying this is recreating that, but it comes down to elite players performing against elite players on elite surfaces.
Yeah, and Eric, I'm pretty certain that you're going to want to link the rise in the number of teenagers playing in the Jamaica Premier League and getting opportunities in, as you said, Real Salt Lake and the Toronto FC in the MLS, with the emergence of all of these academies throughout the country, which is bolstering the development of these young players.
I'm not a big fan of academies. I like to look at football programs.
You're going to have to tell us.
And so whether you're academy or a club or you're a school, which is really where most of the players fall under, to me, are you a football program that trains year-round, that trains 3-4 times a week, that plays matches regularly? And we have some academies that do that. We have some clubs that do that. And we have a few schools that do that. And that is where I feel, that is where the elite should develop. And whether we call it academies or school, or, to me it's football programs. Either you're a serious football program that does year-round, or you're a football program that does recreational, which is we do it for 3 months, we do it for 4 months. When the competition starts, that's when we kind of start select our squad. And that is, to me, the difference how I want it to look at. Not academies, clubs. It is football programs that train year-round, that invest in their youth, that have a youth coach, that they pay year-round. And that is really how I want to have the separation kind of looked at.
Yeah, well, you just said it. And if you want to put it in that way, it still boils down to the fact that there is a more concentrated effort now in lifting the levels of our teenage players to prepare them for bigger assignments.
And that's why I even want to put the emphasis, and that's why KFC is very much in line in what we do. It's not about winning today, because that's a lot of times in youth that we look at. Can we win CASAF under 30? Can we win Manning Cup? It is the bigger picture, which if you ask all of our youngsters, what is your dream? They will all say play professional football in Europe. Nobody will say play in Manning Cup final. They want that, you know, and it's a great part to maybe on the road to it. But our focus as coaching and program should be how can we increase the chances of representing Jamaica at a senior level, getting us to the World Cup and playing professional in Europe. And if we ask ourselves these questions, all of a sudden losing 3-0 to Harbourview in the semi-final is not that big of a deal, because we get our experience, we get our development, and that really helped these guys get to the bigger goal.
Yeah, like a system, just putting systems in place to ensure that the
Correct.
youngsters
And then
always
not
football.
have systems, but actually keep each other accountable.
Yeah.
If the field is not good enough, we have to change venue. You know, if there's players registered that are 13 years old in the under 17 elite competition, it's not the case. Even Lamine Yamal at 13 was not ready for under 17 elite
How are
level.
you so sure?
Maybe have your one-off. But in general, we should not be wanting our players to be exposed to a 13-year-old. Because if we look at a Jamari Nolan, if we look at, plenty of players that now play at the senior level, when they were 16, Leon Bailey at 16, would he be being pushed by Leon Bailey at 13? I don't think so. No. He should be playing against the Whisper that was 16. He should be playing against all these top players when they are 16. So that is what we're trying to create. Hopefully we can grow it. My vision is quite big when it comes to youth football.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say too much because persons might deviate from what we need to focus on. But we have a lot of plans to really, the elite players. So it's not for everybody, but those players that are willing to invest day in, day out, we should have a better platform for them.
So having seen the semi-finals, who would you label as the favourites to win the final?
I don't think it's linked to the semi-final. I think Mount Pleasant has been the dominant team throughout the season, but in the semi-final, I thought Cavalier did a very good job. I think they could have rewarded themselves early in the game with a goal to make it more exciting. But I think Mount Pleasant going in as the favourite, but Harbourview in the semi-final, I think, put on a better display than Mount Pleasant. So going to be an exciting final.
But you have to say that, right? Because that display was against your team.
Well, we have a very interesting battle with Harbourview throughout the season, and I'm sure it will continue for many more years. But as I come back, I'm very happy that all clubs involved and KFC sponsor involved as well, the focus is on the development.
Okay.
Yes.
So whether there's that win or there's a trashing, at the end of the day, we look back as coaches, as organizers from the league, and I say, how could we have gotten more? And not mean more, I could have win, is how can we get more development? How can we get Tyreek Robinson to be challenged more?
Yeah.
That is really what we focus on, and as mentioned again, very grateful for KFC to come on board in the first year. Hopefully we can grow that sponsorship level so we can get a lot more players on the national level.
Yeah, in 10 seconds, what time are the matches on Saturday?
2 o'clock, the third place match, Kingston Football Academy against Cavalier, and at 4 p.m. Mount Pleasant will start against Harbourview at the Anthony Spalding Complex.
All right, go out and support the teams in the KFC Elite Cup at the Anthony Spalding Sports Complex on Saturday. Eric, thanks very much. Love what you're doing, and we wish you all the very best with that venture. I tell you what else we love on this show. It's when Lance is at the track. That's what's going to be up after this break. Stay with us.